Nobody, not King Harris, not T.I., not Tiny, not the fans, not even the people closest to him, expected this to be the moment everything fell apart. But the second 50 Cent exposed King's darkest secret, the one he'd been hiding for years, the one he swore would never see daylight, his entire world flipped upside down. Because within minutes of 50 Cent dropping that bombshell online, King's girlfriend, the one person he thought would ride for him, defend him. I stand beside him through every meltdown, every scandal, every reckless outburst. Didn't argue. Didn't ask questions. Didn't wait for an explanation. She left, instantly, silently, completely. Sources say King was stunned, pacing his room at 3 a.m., calling her back-to-back until his hands shook, but she never answered. She didn't even text him. She cut him off so fast it felt surgical, like she had been waiting for the truth to come out. And the truth? The secret 50 Cent exposed? Again, it wasn't petty. It wasn't embarrassing. It wasn't some childish mistake from his past. It was dark. It was dangerous. It was the kind of secret that makes people want nothing to do with you, like not publicly, not privately, not even out of pity. Industry insiders say 50 Cent didn't just expose King. He destroyed the mask King had been wearing. And when King's girlfriend saw the truth, saw who he really was behind the bravado, behind the attitude, behind the online antics, she realized one thing. She didn't know the man she was dating. But here's the part that shook the entire internet. Her reason for leaving wasn't the secret itself. It was who told her to leave. And that started a firestorm nobody knows how to put out. Everything that led to King Harris' girlfriend walking out the door didn't start the night 50 Cent exposed his darkest secret. It didn't start with the Instagram post, the live stream, or the comment section exploding. No. This collapse began long before the world heard the truth. It began quietly, secretly, behind closed doors where King had been balancing lies, insecurities, and a double life he thought nobody would ever connect. Because the truth is this. King's girlfriend had been sensing something was wrong for months. She wasn't loud about it. She didn't accuse him, she didn't snoop, but she felt it. The distance, the temper, the sudden need for control, and the late-night phone calls he always stepped out of the room to take. The random disappearances where he claimed he was handling business. Even the way King reacted to small arguments. Snapping over nothing, pacing around the room like he was hiding a storm inside his chest. She held on anyway, thinking he was stressed, misunderstood, or just trying to prove himself as a man. She believed he'd mature out of it. She believed she could help calm him. She believed he just needed someone patient. But she didn't know what he was hiding. And King? He didn't realize that the one person he thought he was protecting with silence was the person who would end up hurt the most. Meanwhile, 50 Cent had been watching King spiral for months. Not because he cared, but because King kept provoking the wrong people. Every time King mentioned him, every time he posted a reckless video, every time he acted like a street boss online, 50 took note. Yet people around 50 warned King to stop. People inside Atlanta circles warned him too. But the warnings didn't matter. King thought nobody knew the truth behind his behavior. He thought nobody could expose what he had locked away. He thought the only people aware of his darkest secret were already sworn to silence. He was wrong, because 50 Cent had a habit of knowing things he shouldn't. And this time, he found out something King swore would never escape his inner circle. A secret so heavy, King had built an entire personality around hiding it. The first crack came 2 weeks before the public exposure, when King's girlfriend accidentally overheard a phone call. King was downstairs yelling at someone, saying, "You wasn't supposed to say nothing. You promised me that. You don't know what you've done." She froze at the top of the stairs. King never spoke like that. Never scared, never desperate. That night, he refused to explain what happened. He just said, "Don't worry about it. I got it under control." But he didn't. Behind the scenes, someone close to King, someone he trusted blindly, had slipped up. They had given a tiny piece of information to the wrong person. That person passed it to another person, and somewhere along the chain, It landed exactly where King feared, in 50 Cent's hands. King didn't know 50 had it, not yet, but his girlfriend sensed something wasn't right. She felt him pulling away, shutting down emotionally, becoming paranoid, checking his phone every 5 minutes, locking doors he never used to lock. Meanwhile, people near King whispered that he was acting weird, not himself, hiding something big. But still, no one expected 50 to be the one to break it open. It happened suddenly, violently, publicly. While King was on Instagram Live fronting for viewers, 50 posted a cryptic message, a photo with a caption that didn't say King's name, but everyone instantly knew who it was aimed at. And within minutes, 50 Cent posted again. This time using King's name, a screenshot, a voice note clip, and a sentence that sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. That was the moment King's darkest secret became public. The moment the mask cracked. The moment years of lies toppled. The moment King's girlfriend's stomach dropped. She stared at her phone in disbelief for almost 30 minutes, replaying the clip again and again, scrolling through comments that were getting uglier by the second. Friends in her DMs started asking, "Did you know about this? Is this true? Is this why he's been acting crazy?" She felt sick because the person in that clip, the truth in that exposure, the version of King the world suddenly saw, was not the King she knew, not the King she defended, not the King she loved. Her heart wasn't breaking because of the secret. It was breaking because he hid it from her. Oh, because he let her believe she knew him, because he let her think he was honest, because he let her stand beside a version of him that wasn't real. And while she sat there crying, trying to process everything, trying to understand why her boyfriend had lied for so long, her phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't King. It wasn't a friend. It wasn't a troll. It was a message from someone she never expected to hear from. A woman who had dated a powerful man, like a woman who had seen the consequences of secrets like these. A woman who had survived something similar. The message was short, sharp, and devastating. Leave him now, before this gets worse. She didn't respond. She didn't need to. Because the second King tried calling her, the second she saw his name flash across the screen, the second she heard his voice begging, crying, pleading, she realized the truth. She wasn't leaving because of what King did, but she was leaving because of what his secret was connected to. Because of WHO was involved, because of what 50 Cent hinted at, because of the danger that now surrounded King, danger that could fall on her next. And when she blocked King's number, wiped her tears, and packed her things, she whispered something nobody else heard. "I don't want to die for someone else's secret." King Harris had been spiraling ever since 50 Cent exposed his darkest secret, but the real collapse didn't begin until the moment his girlfriend walked out. That was the trigger, the moment he snapped. Because losing her didn't feel like heartbreak, it felt like judgment. It felt like the world was confirming that the version of him 50 exposed was the only version people believed now. King kept calling her, kept texting her, kept begging for just one conversation. But every call went straight to voicemail, and every message said "delivered" without ever turning to read. He wasn't angry, he was desperate. He wasn't yelling, he was pleading. He wasn't the tough kid the internet mocked. He was a terrified boy trying to hold on to the only person who made him feel human. But the deeper truth? The truth King couldn't escape? She didn't leave because of the secret. She left because she learned who else knew it. Because the second 50 Cent exposed King's secret publicly, every person connected to that secret, the powerful men, the silent partners, the background manipulators, all became active again. King didn't just have a secret. He had a secret someone had been protecting for him. And that was the twist nobody expected. See, months before 50 exposed King, something had happened behind the scenes. Something dark, something illegal, something King was involved in indirectly. He wasn't the mastermind, he wasn't the planner, He wasn't even the one who carried out the act. But he knew about it. He saw it. He witnessed something he shouldn't have. Something connected to a man who moved in silence. A man more dangerous than 50, T.I., or anyone King's girlfriend ever imagined. This man had protected King before, not out of kindness, but out of strategy. King had been wrapped in a shield of influence, money, and intimidation, without even knowing who built that shield. Until 50 Cent ripped it open. Because 50 didn't expose the secret for views. He didn't expose it for clout. He exposed it for revenge. Revenge against the man King was accidentally protecting. That's when everything spiraled. Because the moment the truth came out, King wasn't the only one who panicked. That dangerous man, the one who had cleaned up King's mess, suddenly had a problem. King knew too much. And King was unstable. And King was emotional. And emotional men spill secrets. That's when the threats began. At first they were subtle. A message from a blocked number saying, "You've said enough." Then another, "Don't let 50 push you into talking." King didn't show these messages to anyone. But his girlfriend saw the fear in his eyes. He stopped sleeping. He stopped eating. He jumped every time his phone buzzed. Because he wasn't worried about 50 Cent anymore. He was worried about the man behind the secret. The one who had everything to lose if King opened his mouth. And 50 Cent knew that. That's why he went live the next night and said, "If the boy tells the full story, some grown men gonna be sick." That was the moment everything snapped. The internet exploded. King panicked. His girlfriend packed her bags. Because now she understood King wasn't just hiding a personal mistake. He was holding a dangerous truth that could destroy multiple people. But the major conflict hit when King finally reached out to the only person he thought could help him. A family friend deeply connected to Atlanta's underground. Someone who knows how power works. Someone who knows how secrets get buried. King begged him, "Why is this happening? What do I do?" And the man gave him the one answer that made King break down into tears. "You were protected for as long as you followed the rules. You stepped out of line, now you're exposed." King started shaking. "What rules? I didn't break nothing." The man sighed. "You weren't supposed to talk about that night, any part of it. You weren't supposed to repeat what you saw. You weren't supposed to ask questions. You weren't supposed to mention that man in your rants. And you definitely weren't supposed to look like you were about to fold under pressure." King collapsed into a chair. That night, that man. Fold under pressure. It all clicked. He wasn't being targeted because of the secret itself. He was being targeted because people believed he might talk. And then came the first twist. The one that changed everything. 50 Cent didn't discover King's secret. Someone gave it to him. A person close to King. Someone who knew the details. Someone who wanted King exposed. Someone who benefited from destroying the protection King had. And that person was someone King trusted more than anyone. Someone who had been playing both sides, and someone pretending to be the mentor, while feeding information to 50 Cent and the dangerous man King feared. When King learned that name, he stopped speaking mid-sentence. He dropped the phone. He grabbed his head like he was about to scream. Because the person who betrayed him was the same person who told his girlfriend to leave him. The same person who whispered, "You don't want to be tied to this boy when the truth comes out." And suddenly King understood. 50 Cent wasn't the enemy. Yeah, his secret wasn't the problem. His girlfriend didn't abandon him by choice. He was being isolated intentionally, strategically, cruelly, by someone determined to break him before the real storm hit. Because the real danger wasn't exposure. The real danger was the powerful man behind the secret arriving in Atlanta. And that man had only one rule: no loose ends. King had been spiraling for hours, pacing back and forth in his room, trying to figure out how everything collapsed in a single night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw his girlfriend walking out the door, her face pale from fear, not anger. She didn't leave because he lied. She left because the truth was bigger than him. Bigger than them. Bigger than anything she ever wanted to be involved in. And that's what broke him. Because deep down, King knew she wasn't running from him. She was running from the man behind his secret. Yet the man whose name King didn't even say in private. The man whose presence made grown men go quiet. The man who had protected King only because King's silence was beneficial. That man wasn't just powerful. He wasn't just connected. He was untouchable. And now, thanks to 50 Cent, King wasn't protected anymore. Now he was exposed. King's phone buzzed again. Another message from a blocked number. Stay quiet. His hand started shaking. He deleted the message immediately. He terrified someone might see it. But he couldn't delete the fear building in his chest. He grabbed his jacket, deciding he had to get out of the house before anyone else showed up. But when he opened the door, he found someone waiting for him in the hallway. The same person who betrayed him. The man who pretended to help him all these years. The man who fed information to 50 Cent, and the dangerous figure who ran Atlanta's underground. King froze. "Why are you here?" he whispered. And the man didn't smile, didn't threaten, didn't explain. Instead, he said, "You should have kept your mouth shut." King's anger bubbled up, mixing with fear. "I did keep my mouth shut. You're the one who told him. You're the one who ruined everything." The man leaned closer. "You were spiraling. You were emotional. You were one live away from exposing the wrong people. And if you had said one detail too much, it wouldn't be your girlfriend leaving you. It would be your family burying you." King's stomach twisted. "So you exposed me first?" The man nodded calmly. "To control the damage." That sentence hit King like a bullet. Control. Damage. He wasn't a person. He was a liability. King stepped back, feeling his whole world tilt. What did 50 Cent post? Why would you let him expose that of all things? The man didn't respond immediately. He looked at King with disappointment, maybe even pity. "You still don't understand what you saw." King swallowed hard. "I didn't see anything. Yes, you did," the man snapped. "You saw something you were never supposed to witness. Something that tied a powerful man to an illegal operation. Something that could take down half the city if the wrong people found out." King's breath caught in his throat. That night. That one night he always shoved to the back of his mind. The night he told himself he dreamed. The night he saw something in a warehouse he wasn't meant to be near. He had tried to forget it, but 50 Cent didn't forget. He exposed it. King stumbled. "But I didn't snitch. I didn't say a word. I didn't tell—" "You didn't have to," the man interrupted. "You talk when you're angry. You live online. You think being T.I.'s son protects you from the real world." He shook his head. "But the moment 50 Cent hinted you were involved in something serious, and that's when they lost confidence in you." King felt his knees weaken. Who's they? The man inhaled deeply. The same people 50 Cent wants to take down. The same people you've been accidentally protected by. The same people who saw you as a threat the moment you became unpredictable. King was trembling now. This is because of one night? Something I didn't even mean to see? The man cut him a sharp look. That night involved money, power, crimes. And a man who's been at the top of Atlanta's underground for 20 years. King's eyes widened. No, not him. I didn't even say his name. You didn't have to, the man said flatly. 50 Cent said it for you. And that's when it clicked. 50 didn't expose King out of beef. He exposed him to expose the man behind him. The man King accidentally witnessed doing something illegal. The man who was using King's silence as protection. The man who now felt betrayed. Now King whispered, "He thinks I talked." The man nodded. And once a man like him believes that, you're done. King collapsed onto the couch, breath shallow, panic rising. So what happens now? What do I do? My girlfriend thinks I'm dangerous. The internet thinks I'm a criminal. My parents don't even know what's going on. And now this guy wants me gone? The man didn't soften. This isn't about danger. This is about leverage. If they break you emotionally, you'll slip. You'll talk. And that is what the man fears most. King looked up, tears forming. I don't want to talk. I don't want to be involved. I didn't do anything. The man grabbed King's shoulders. But you saw something, and that makes you a liability. King broke down, whispering, So he's coming for me? The man shook his head. He's already here. King froze. What? Then the man delivered the shocking reveal, the one that changed everything. He sent someone not to kill you. I to test you. King's heart dropped. Test me for what? To see if you'll break. King's breath hitched. And if I do break? The man didn't answer with words. He just looked at King with the kind of expression that told him the truth was far worse than anything 50 Cent could ever expose. The world didn't just react to King Harris' exposure, it detonated. One moment, people were laughing at memes of King yelling on IG Live. The next, they were staring at 50 Cent's post with their jaws hanging open, reading the words that hinted King was involved in something far darker, deeper, and more dangerous than teenage drama. Within minutes, King wasn't trending. He was the only thing trending. People flooded X, Nah, this isn't regular beef. King got mixed up with real criminals? 50 just ended the boy's entire storyline. That man is done. Stick a fork in him. And then came the clips. The old warehouse videos. The grainy screenshots. The alleged audio recordings. Nobody knew which ones were real, which ones were edited, and which ones were planted to make King look worse. But nobody cared about accuracy. Everyone cared about chaos. Creators on TikTok started uploading full breakdowns. Here's what King really saw that night. This is why his girlfriend ran. Y'all don't understand, he was protected by someone powerful. Some claimed King witnessed a drug deal, and others said it was money laundering. The conspiracy channels said it was a political blackmail exchange. But the one theory that caught fire was this. King saw something connected to a man nobody names, and that man wants him silent. Comments exploded. That's why he's panicking. That's why his girlfriend dipped. That's why 50 exposed him to smoke out the real villain. Bro is fighting demons he didn't even summon. Within hours, the King had gone from a loudmouth teenager to a tragic character in a crime thriller. But it didn't stop online. The industry started reacting too. Rappers began posting cryptic messages. You play in the streets, you drown in the streets. Kids don't know what they see in these days. Some secrets take your soul. Behind the scenes ain't the game. Producers, DJs, and managers whispered in interviews, not saying King's name, but everyone understood the message. He shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have seen that. He shouldn't have spoken online at all. One OG in Atlanta said something that made the entire internet pause. The boy ain't wrong for being scared. I'd be scared too if that man felt betrayed. People bombarded him. Who is that man? Say the name. Stop being cryptic. He didn't answer. He didn't have to. And because a different reaction overshadowed all of them. One that came from someone nobody expected. King's girlfriend posted a single message on her story. Just one sentence. And it set the entire internet ablaze. I'm not risking my life for someone else's secrets. Everyone screamed, What? What secrets? What did King do? Who is threatening you? The comments blew up so fast she deleted the story, but the screenshots had already spread everywhere. And then fans noticed she unfollowed. King, T.I., Tiny, and the family friend who betrayed King. People started piecing things together, making timelines, analyzing her likes, her old posts, her tagged photos. The entire internet played detective. Then things got worse for King. Because another public reaction dropped. From someone tied to the man behind King's secret. A woman posted, "Everyone involved knows exactly why the boy is scared. This ain't for Instagram." That one comment flipped the internet upside down. Suddenly people weren't laughing at King anymore. They were terrified for him. Videos went viral. Y'all realize King is in actual danger, right? 50 didn't expose him for clout. He exposed him as bait. He's being pushed to the edge mentally. Even celebrities who normally stayed silent started chiming in privately. He needs protection. Someone please check on that boy. Why isn't T.I. speaking up? And that became the biggest controversy. People turned on T.I. on, "Where you at? Why aren't you defending your son? Say something!" Fans flooded his comments, flooded Tiny's comments, flooded the Harris family pages. But the family stayed silent, and silence only fueled the panic. Then, as if the pressure wasn't enough, a news outlet reported, "Sources say Harris family security has been doubled." Instant meltdown. Who is after him? This is deeper than music beef. They are preparing for something. Is King safe? Within hours, a rumor spread. A black SUV was circling King's neighborhood. The video was shaky, low quality, filmed from behind a tree, but that didn't matter. Fans believed it instantly. Suddenly, everyone was convinced King was being watched, stalked, hunted. People began tagging the FBI, tagging Atlanta PD, tagging T.I., tagging 50 Cent. It felt like the entire world was begging someone to step in before it was too late. But the worst reaction came from the underground. Whispers spread on private forums. He's being tested. They want to see if he'll fold. They think he might talk. No loose ends. And then, at 3:12 a.m., a message appeared on a dark web thread, one that went viral the moment someone screenshotted it. He has 48 hours. Fans panicked. What does that mean? Who gave him 48 hours? Is he supposed to leave the city? Is he in danger right now? Nobody had answers. Not the public, not the media, not random commentators, but one person did. The person who betrayed King. He posted a single line. If he survives this, he'll never make the same mistake again. That sent chills across the entire internet, because indirectly, without naming names, he confirmed everything. King had seen something. The underground was involved. A powerful man did feel threatened. And King's time was running out. King sat alone in the dark, the glow of his phone screen lighting his face as he scrolled through millions of comments, conspiracy videos, threats, warnings, and desperate messages telling him to get out of Atlanta before it was too late. His chest tightened with every new notification. Every second, his name was trending globally. Every minute, a new piece of evidence surfaced. Every hour, and someone else hinted that the man behind his secret was getting closer. But nothing. Not the internet, not 50 Cent's posts, not the betrayal, not his girlfriend leaving, prepared him for what happened next. Because the man in question, the man whose identity nobody dared to say out loud, the man whose shadow alone controlled entire neighborhoods, was already closer than King ever imagined. The first sign came through a voicemail, a number King didn't recognize. There was no voice on the other end, no threat, no instructions. Just breathing. Slow, calm, measured. Like the person wanted King to know they weren't hiding. Like they wanted him to feel their presence. King felt his entire body go cold. He locked his phone, tossed it across the room, and pressed both hands against his temples, whispering to himself, "This ain't happening. This ain't happening." But it was. And the next sign proved it. Outside King's house, headlights flashed, twice, then disappeared. Not fast, not aggressively, just a slow, deliberate acknowledgement that someone was watching. King rushed to the window, but the street was empty. No car, no sound, no movement. Just silence thick enough to choke on. He backed away from the curtains as a terrifying realization hit him. This wasn't a warning anymore. This was surveillance. The people online weren't exaggerating. His girlfriend wasn't paranoid. 50 Cent wasn't bluffing. The man behind the secret had started his test. King grabbed his phone again, hands shaking, and tried calling the one family friend he still trusted. The same one who warned him before. But for the first time ever, the call didn't go through, not to voicemail, not to ringing. Just a message he had never seen before. The number you're trying to reach has been restricted. King stared at the screen as dread punched him in the chest. Restricted. As in shut down, blocked, cut off. Not by the phone company, by someone powerful enough to erase communications instantly. That's when he heard it. A soft, deliberate knock on his front door. Not loud, not frantic, not aggressive. Just 3 taps. Tap, tap, tap. King froze. Every muscle in his body locked. His breath stopped. The knock came again. Tap, tap, tap. He didn't move. He didn't breathe. He didn't blink. Because the knock wasn't random. Nobody knocked like that. Nobody could knock like that. 3 taps. Evenly spaced. Perfect rhythm. It was a signature, a calling card, a message from the man whose name nobody said. The man King had accidentally crossed without even realizing it. King backed up slowly, whispering, "No. No way. He wouldn't come here himself." But then a voice came from the other side of the door. Low, silky, calm, terrifyingly composed. "Open the door, King. We need to talk." King felt his legs nearly give out. The room spun. His throat closed. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't a demand. It wasn't anger. It was the voice of a man who didn't raise his tone because he never needed to. Power didn't yell. Power didn't scream. Power whispered. King stood frozen in place, tears already forming because deep down he knew. If this man came personally, it wasn't for intimidation. It wasn't a test. It wasn't even punishment. It was the final stage. King backed up until his shoulders hit the wall, and the voice at the door continued. "You've caused me a bit of a problem. Let's fix it together." King whispered to himself, "I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead." But then came the real twist, the one that made the entire situation take a horrifying turn. The man at the door said, "I'm not here because of what you saw. I'm here because of who you talked to." King's breath caught. Talked to? The betrayal? The mentor who exposed him? The girlfriend who was told to leave? Who? But the man continued. "You said one sentence to one person, and that person told the wrong ear. That is why I'm here." King's mind spiraled. "What sentence? Who did I talk to? What did I say?" Then the man said the words that shattered everything. "You told a secret to someone who was already working for me." King's eyes widened in horror. No way. That couldn't be true. But the man wasn't finished. "And that person," he said calmly, "has fed me every detail, every fear, every message, every apology, every panic attack, every attempt you made to fix this." King's heart dropped to his feet. His betrayer wasn't the mentor, wasn't the friend, wasn't even 50 Cent. It was someone King trusted deeper than all of them. Someone who knew his routine, his weaknesses, his insecurities, his fears. Someone who was always with him. Someone who comforted him. Someone he believed in. King's voice cracked. "Who?" There was a long, gut-wrenching silence before the man delivered the final blow. "You already know who it is." Think about who left you first. King's blood ran cold. His girlfriend. The one person he thought was innocent. The one person he thought was scared. The one person he thought was protecting herself. She wasn't running from danger. She was working for it. Before King could process it, the man said, "She knows I'm here. She told me you'd open the door." King staggered back, and his girlfriend wasn't a victim. She wasn't scared. She wasn't manipulated. She was the insider. The leak. The mole. The one who led this man straight to King. King whispered, voice breaking, "She set me up." The man at the door smiled through the wood. "Open the door, King." The screen cuts to black here, because what happens next changes everything. And now that you've followed King Harris through every unraveling thread, the exposure, the betrayal, and the danger creeping closer with every hour, the powerful man standing at his door, and the gut-shattering truth that the one he loved was the one who led him into the lion's den. You're standing exactly where King is, on the edge of something huge, something dark, something that isn't finished, something that feels like it's about to explode in the next chapter. But before we continue this story, before we uncover what happens when that door finally opens, before we peel back the next twisted layer of secrets, I want you, the viewer, the witness, the person watching this entire disaster unfold, to tell me one thing. Do you think King survives this? Because this isn't just drama anymore. This isn't petty beef. This isn't clout chasing or internet foolishness. This is betrayal engineered from the inside. This is manipulation orchestrated by people far more powerful than King ever understood. This is a young man realizing too late that he was a pawn in a game played in the shadows. And the players aren't done with him yet. So tell me in the comments, who do you think the mysterious man at the door really is? Why do you think King's girlfriend chose to betray him? Do you believe 50 Cent exposed King to destroy him? Or to save him? And what do you think King will do when he realizes the only person he trusted was the one handing him over? Your theories matter. Your voice matters. Because this story isn't ending, it's expanding. And the more you dig, the more dangerous it becomes. Before you go, make sure you hit that like button if this episode had your heart pounding or your jaw on the floor. Every like pushes this story deeper into the algorithm. And deeper into the truth we're trying to uncover. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Turn on notifications. Because when the next leak drops, when we finally find out what the man behind the door wants, what King does next, and whether the girlfriend comes back into the picture or disappears forever, you do not want to miss a second of it. This is not the finale. This is the cliff before the fall. Stay locked in. Stay watching. The next chapter is coming, and it will shake everything.